Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with yet another White Forest variant, probably the one that you've all been expecting the most from me, and that is going to be White Forest Spright. So this is a deck that I was very much looking forward to playing, one of the main reasons why I was looking forward to playing White Forest so much. If you know anything about me, you probably know that I not only love Spright, and not only love Synchro Summoning, but any Spright variant where you get to Synchro Summon, yeah, that's my jam. Ever since I topped the MCS with Punk Spright, had such a blast playing that deck. Rip Chaos Ruler. But anyway, White Forest Spright. I might just need to do a little more cooking, but I don't know. I gotta say, this one does not feel as spicy to me as other Synchro Spright variants we've played. And I think that's because we're not really going out of our way to do any complex combo lines here. That doesn't mean I'm not going to cook some up. I mean, I might, but it's really, the way this variant plays is kind of the same way a lot of other White Forest variants play. In that, you know, we have our White Forest lines, right, that we will often start plays with. I mean, in this variant, you do have to start your plays with White Forest stuff. And then the plan is if they negate us, you just special summon a Spright monster from hand and make a Spright board instead. But there's not really much of, like, weaving, I guess, the Sprights into the combo line. I mean, that's the thing about Spright, right? And as much as I do adore the deck, it is not without its drawbacks, like literally any other deck, right? One of the biggest issues that Spright has is that it's an archetype of extenders, meaning that outside of starter, it doesn't, and this also in turn extends to its variants, it doesn't really have any one-card plays. And we have reached a point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where if your deck doesn't really do one-card combos inherently, it's going to struggle against the other decks that do in the meta, because a lot of decks do one-card combos, right? A lot of the most meta-relevant decks do anyway, so yeah, I mean, that, like I said, we're not really, like, doing anything, like, super crazy. Again, it's more of a matter of, like, well, I guess to be fair, one of the ways that these two archetypes do play pretty well together naturally is where, if you get interrupted at a point where you have, like, a level 2 non-tuner and one of your level 4, you know, tuners, right? Because the thing about Spright, as always as ever, is that any level 2 monster plus any other monster is actually just like a full Spright board with like the IP, the elf, and then like red or carrot, right? Well, I guess it kind of depends on what exactly you're going for. But anyway, the idea here is that, like, if you don't really have a good synchro line, it's not hard at all to pivot into a Spright line, right? So the thing is, though, with this, I mean, you kind of feel this with every Spright synchro variant, but we do have to make room for a decent amount of synchro monsters, meaning that we don't get to play as much Spright stuff as we would like to normally. Notably, like, we don't get to play the Zeus package with Downerd. We don't get to play some other Link 2s you might. So we're actually on Sprind in this build, which is not something. Oh, and Avermax was the other thing I was trying to think of. Sprind is something we're on in this build that I don't know. I was just seeing if I could try it out here, because both Stellar and LZ are actually not bad at all to send from your deck to the graveyard. Particularly Stellar, if you have another way to start White Forest plays, you could potentially make a Sprind, dump a Stellar, and then, you know, you could, like, if you had to, you could even, like, normal summon Rukia and, like, activate effect to draw one, and then bring back a Stellar, and then potentially make plays from there. The thing is, though, that is, like, such a specific situation that it really makes me think the Sprint is just not worth playing. Oh, and of course the Melfi package is another thing that Spright normally. I think that, like, most Spright. So here's the thing, right? Most Spright decks, unless they're on a highly specific variant, I think should be on the Melfi package. In fact, I think whether or not Melfi is better than what you're doing is kind of one of the signs of, like, is pure Spright just better than this variant I'm playing? And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I think about, like, the fact that we're playing this White Forest stuff, and, like, we could just be playing Zeus and, like, Melfi of the Forest and Herald of the Arclight, I'm like, I kind of feel like that would be better. I'm not going to lie. That doesn't mean I'm not going to explore this deck anymore. Again, I would like to maybe cook up a combo line that makes this really feel kind of more unique. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not feeling the sauce with this one as much as I hoped I would. Not that I dislike the deck. It's just not quite as spicy as I'd hoped. So anyway, let's see. Anything else I need to explain about the list in particular? Back on 2 triple tack in this build. I've been on 1 triple tack for quite a while now, for a couple of months now. But I'm back up to 2 here because you definitely don't mind seeing it, especially when you can just send it with Estella or LZ, right? But I mean, again, I really don't think there's that much to really explain here. If you know what a White Forest combo line looks like, and you know what a Spright combo line looks like, then you can play this variant. You already know what this deck is capable of doing. So why don't we go ahead and break the list down card by card, though, and then we'll take a look at some of these replays here, because we did get to have some pretty engaging gameplay. You know, of course, that's something that is not... What am I trying to say here? It's just because the deck isn't as spicy as I want it to be, doesn't mean the games were necessarily bland. We actually did have some pretty good back and forth. But anyway, let's cover the list here and then we'll take a look at those. We're on 3 Effect Failure, 3 Max C, 2 Spright Blue, 2 Spright Jet. We got 1 Spright Red and 1 Spright Carrot, 3 Esteller of the White Forest, 3 LZ of the White Forest, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We got 3 Sylvie of the White Forest, 1 Rukia of the White Forest, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 2 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Tales of the White Forest, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 3 Spright Starter, 1 Spright Gamma Burst, 3 Infinite Permanents, and then finally 1 Woes of the White Forest. And that'll do it for the main deck. For the extra, we are on 1 Formula Synchron, 1 Silvera Wolf Tamer of the White Forest, 1 Rakila Sinister Soul of the White Forest, 1 Diabelle Queen of the White Forest, 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Chaos Angel, 2 Gigantic Spright, 1 number 2 Ninja Shadow Mosquito, 1 IP Masquerena, 2 Spright Elf, 1 Spright Sprind, 1 SP Little Knight, and then finally 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. There's our list. Now let's see some games. Okay, so for our first game, we're up against I was gonna call it Tenpai tier limit, but it's only got, like, I think Genroku and nothing else. I think my opponent might have successfully baited me into thinking I was playing against a weird Tenpai deck here, because, anyway, we're taking the first turn. And I'm gonna start by normal summoning red and then specialing blue. So here we open to the Rukia, but there's not really a way to integrate her into the combo line. The only way I could really, you know, pull an LZ or a Stellar from the deck is off of Gigantic. But the issue with that, I mean, we do actually summon the Esteller anyway, but of course I can't special summon Rukia rather, because of course we just 2-locked ourselves. Yeah, I never elaborated on it during the profile section. I meant to, but you do have to start with White Forest plays if possible, because of course the fact that Starter and Gigantic both 2-lock you. That's true of every Spright deck, so yeah, there we go. I mean, pretty typical end board here, right? Elf, IP, and Carrot/Red. We can also Elf to bring back the other one during their turn. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, it wasn't the... Okay, so I see now. They're playing Sangen Summoning and Genroku as their only Tenpai cards, because they're not actually playing a Tenpai strategy. They're just using this to get a level 4 tuner. This is actually going to be a tier limit deck that we're playing against, even though they are leading with Sangen Summoning. And, of course, this does actually also serve as excellent bait, as when the card is activated, I'm going to Elf for red. And then once they... Well, I'm going to Starter here as well. Oh, yeah. So let me explain my thought process here. I want to negate and destroy Sangen Summoning, right? Because right now, during the actual live game itself, I thought I was playing against Tenpai. A 60-card Tenpai deck, but Tenpai nevertheless. I'm seeing the Sangen Summoning right in front of me. My idea here was that, okay, I don't need to summon anything other than level, rank, or link 2s. I can get 2 locks for the rest of this turn, that's fine, because I want my IP to go into an SP. So the thought here was that, okay, I can Starter for like a Jet for another Starter or something random like that here. Then when I go to activate Sangen Summoning effect, I can Carrot the Elf. Then I can, if they use a monster effect, red to send whatever random Jet or whatever blue that I get Spright monster, and then I can still IP and then have one of these bodies left over. So the fact that we traded the starter for Ash Blossom here, mwah, I love it. Beautiful. That I 100% take that. So as mentioned, we're waiting for them to activate the effect of Sangen summoning, and we are going to send the elf off of Carrot because I want to negate and destroy this, thinking I was playing against Tenpai, right? So here they're going to triple attack for the take control. They're going to take my IP here. Normal summon Supreme Seamare. I'm going to Spright Red here, and then also activate Maxi, because now they have a choice. They either have to link off and give me a draw, or give me my IP back. I'd rather have my AP back, but I'm kind of fine with either. But of course, the Supreme Seamare, I was like, wait, is this? I thought it was a Tenpai Tear Limit hybrid, which wouldn't even be the most awful idea in the world. Because Tear Limit does actually have a lot of natural synchro synergy. By the way, don't mind me casually peeling like the literal 2 best cards I could have off of this first 2 draws of the Maxi here, right? My opponent's going to throw down a Kick Close. We drew a Veiler on that summon. I was more than fine ashing it, but I was like, you know what? I'll definitely take the Veiler here as well. Opponent has Tear Cash in hand. They're going to banish the Grief and then activate, which I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to bother Ash Blossom it, because it's only a mill 3, and I'm like, whatever, that's fine. Topologic Zero Boros is what they're going to end up summoning here as they move to battle over that. If you're not familiar with this card, it will banish all cards in the field if I special summon to a zone that it points to. So basically, this is effectively a big monster that's going to block me out of a couple of zones. But I don't need... I think I should be able to out this with, you know, only having access to 3 main monster zones, right? Is my kind of thought process here. I have the 2, I have the Jet, and I just rip Imperm anyway. I'm actually just going to use the Imperm here, even though I do have LZ in hand, because I don't think that I don't need it to... The LZ, that is. I don't need it to be able to make a board that can take care of the Topologic. I don't really think I needed to Imperm it, though, either, right? If I wanted to keep Imperm to use LZ, I could have activated LZ, pitch Imperm, special, and then special summon Sylvie. Sylvie F for Tails. I don't know, that would have been a little bit dicey. The Imperm was just a much cleaner solution, and it got our opponent to concede anyway, so that is definitely okay with me. Alright, there's our first game. Let's go ahead and watch the next one now. And that next game is going to be up against Voiceless Voice, a 6-turn duel. Nice, good back and forth. Love to see that. I think it is. It might be one of those games where it was 6 turns because we both just like dead drew the whole time. Alright, I'm going to take the first turn. Hand is like, we have Sylvie, but if this gets Impermed, which of course it does, then we're really in a lot of trouble because I can't call by that and I can't use triple attack now. So, yeah, that's definitely less than ideal. I just got to set call by impasse here, unfortunately. Sylvie is like, it's weird. I really hate hands of any White Forest deck where you open Sylvie and nothing else because it just gets negated and you just don't get to have plays. So here, I'm just going to move to battle. Because I don't really have any more plays. But I will say, having a Veiler here is not bad. And you might think, well, wouldn't you have rather top decked, like, even any level 2 monster? And yeah, that would have been combos. But here's the thing, right? My opponent set 3 cards and then passed. They obviously don't have plays. Also, this is pretty obviously an Imperm, because they set it first and they put it directly across from my call by. So what I'm thinking here is that, okay, if my opponent doesn't have any plays, then it's fine if I just top deck a bunch of hand traps, because then they're in top deck mode and I'm being able to counter each of their top decks. And I have control of the board. With only a 1500 attack, essentially a vanilla monster, I have managed to somehow take control of the board here, as my opponent's going to pass back again without really doing much of anything here. Normal summon Jet. As soon as I normal summon, they immediately fire off Max C. I'm not going to use any of my responses though. Look at this. You'll notice that okay, hang on. Things went by kind of quickly there. You'll notice that when they activated Max C, I did not activate Call By. I did not activate Ash Blossom. The reason for this, the reason that I did not do that is because, again, I know my opponent does not have any live plays here. So if I triple attack and take their Extender, if they have one, or another hand trap if they don't have any plays, then in theory I can still counter their top deck. Pretty much no matter what it is. We took Soravis there, so I definitely know it's Voiceless Voice. And yeah, I mean, I have the Gamma Burst as well. I have lethal on board next turn. So I'm like, okay, I just handle whatever they top deck, and then I just win here, right? So I normal summon the Diviner, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to Ash Blossom this here. I probably should have Veilored here, but... Well, in case they had a call by, that's why I wanted to Ash Blossom. So now we can simply Veilor instead. Unfortunately for me, they have the other call bys of face down! Which this is something that I should have taken into account, is them having double call by or call by crossout. Because that does wreck me here. That does actually just wreck me here. Although, to be fair, it still doesn't matter if I had tried to counter the Maxi. It still would have resolved, right? Because I would have Ashed, it would have called by, I would have called by, that would have impermed. Yeah, I know that other face down cards than imperm. So, I either had to play into Maxi or get... I mean, obviously, that's kind of always the options, right? Play into Maxi or wait till your opponent's turn. I don't think it was wrong to wait here, though. I'm trying to use a little bit of hindsight knowledge right now to figure out if it was or not. But I think it was still debatable, if nothing else. But yeah, at this point, I don't really have a counter to Voiceless plays, so I'm just going to give it to them. I'm like, you can just have it. I don't think I would have died this turn, but like, especially, again, in a deck like this, what could I have realistically top-decked that would have done it by itself against the combo, right? Because we don't really have one-card plays. Again, it's a little true of White Forest and Spright. Like, Spright we already discussed, but White Forest does still lead spell and trap cards to send as well, which we had here with the Gamma Burst, but again, that just gets negated by the Skull Guardian. So, yeah, we're just going to give them the W on that one. But, interesting decision points in that game. I think you could make a lot of different arguments for that board state. We have one more game we're going to look at, though. Let's finish off with that one. Okay, and for our final game, it's actually going to be another duel against Voiceless Voice. I forgot I had two. I actually didn't save this replay, and I think replays expire after 24 hours, and it was almost 24 hours. That was really close. But, okay, good. We did have a going second game. I thought I had a going second game. I was pretty sure that I did. I'm glad I'm not going, well, that crazy. Anyway. Opponent's going to lead with Diviner. I'm going to start with Veilor just to check and see if they have a call by or a crossout. I can follow up with Imperm, but they don't have anything. They're going to set a card and pass. Mwah, beautiful. Love to see it. Going to normal summon my Sylvie here. Activate the Sylvie effect. Opponent's going to chain Ash Blossom. So here, we're going to definitely use Triple Tech, I think, to draw two cards, because we do have a number of extenders we could find. LZ, Spright Starter, to name a couple. Our opponent chains Maxi here. I guess they wanted to... Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? They wanted to get in the Maxi before I top-decked my own Ash Blossom or a Call By or a Crossout or something. So, yeah. I definitely don't think that was a bad play at all. So here I could have specialed Rukia, but even then that wouldn't have gotten me a combo anyway. So this Maxi is actually totally fine for my opponent. Did not actually really end up doing too much of anything here. Just going to set a couple of Imperms and pass. Opponent did not manage to find a play. They're going to pass back over to me. I'm going to normal summon another Sylvie here, going for the tails. I'm going to see if I can't get a level 2 on board before I special my Spright Blue. Now again, the opponent has another Maxi. And again, we find ourselves in such a similar situation in the last game. It's even against Voiceless again. So here, obviously, they're going to get the draw off the Rukia, right? We're going to activate Rukia, send to the tails, draw a card. Tails set itself. Activating Tails. Opponent's going to Ash Blossom that. And yeah, they're still at 7,000 life points right now. Plus, I guess I don't really have a normal summon anyway. Do I? No, I don't. So I couldn't really make another play here anyway, to be fair. But even if they hadn't ashed my Tails, I don't think I would have actually continued a combo. Like, I could have added LZ, but I don't think I would have specialed her. And again, because we're in pretty much the exact same situation as last time, where I have control of the board, right? Even though it's with essentially a bunch of low attack vanillas at this point, I have control of the board. My opponent is in top deck mode. I know they need to peel exactly their top card in order to find plays, and I know I have enough hand traps to counter that. The main difference is this time my opponent does not have a bunch of face down cards, which with the last Voiceless player ended up being a bunch of call bys to screw me over. Now here I have 2 Imperms and a Veilor, and I'm going to have a call by my own to set as well during the main phase 2. There's like nothing they could actually feasibly do, right? I'm pretty sure there's no card that they could reasonably expected top deck that would actually get them out of that situation. So yeah, I am actually really glad that I end up saving this game in time, or showing it in time rather, because it does kind of show that nice little dichotomy of how two different games, but two extremely similar game states, and how sometimes you just have to hedge and really, kind of make your best bet. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But just because it doesn't pay off doesn't mean it wasn't the right play necessarily. But anyway, that'll go ahead and do it for this video. Thanks, as always, for watching. Let us now move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.